Hello again. This is Rob Wagoner, and today I want to talk to you about setting up your site-to-site virtual network between Azure and your on-premises network. So there are a few things that we've gone through already. Let me recap. We have the virtual network created within Azure, and at the end of our last session we asked to create the gateway. As you can see, the gateway is already created now, and we have a gateway IP address. This row of information, data in, data out, and gateway IP address, are what tells us we have our gateway created. The other great thing here is once this gateway is created, we have the ability to download a VPN device script. If I'm using a Cisco, Juniper, or Microsoft RAS device, I have the ability to pull a script from it. And as you can see, we offer a number of different options here for both Cisco and Juniper, as well as the Microsoft RAS device. So you can use an RAS device as your on-premises router, which is what I'm going to use. This is the script we're going to use. I've already copied it over to my RAS device, so let me show you what I have set up here. So I have one Hyper-V host currently running that's supporting my on-premises infrastructure. I've already created a virtual machine and promoted it to a domain controller. That's TS2DC1. My RAS device, TS2RAS220. Remember the breadcrumbs I talked about? I continue them here as well. So with this VPN device, I identify that fourth octet, so I know which RAS device I'm using, because as I mentioned, I have multiple RAS devices running. But let me move over to my RAS device now. As I mentioned, I've already copied this script to the RAS device, and the great part about grabbing this script after the gateway is created is this IP address is already injected into the script for you. You can see this in multiple places. If you grab this script before the gateway is completed, we don't have an IP address, so your script doesn't have all the details already added. You must go edit it. So I just wait. The first thing I'm going to do is copy all of that. I save it on the desktop in case I need it again. I then open PowerShell, and I can inject it right here into the PowerShell, and we can watch it run. What I'll do is come back to you after this runs. So the script has run once, and as you can see, I have a bunch of red on my screen. Red is not good in PowerShell. Basically what happens is during the script it installs RAS and then it restarts RAS. It makes some changes, then it does a restart. Unfortunately, sometimes RAS isn't completely started before PowerShell continues to send it more scripts, so we run into some errors. All you have to do if this happens to you is run the script one more time. You can run it multiple times. In fact, in one location in the script. Notice it says here, a reboot of the machine might be required here, after which the script can be executed again. So this script is made to be run more than once if needed. And what I've found is if I run it a second time, it'll run without issue. Again, I'll come back to you after it completes. Okay, so now the script is completed and all but the last line has been executed. The last line is connect on premises to Azure. And all you have to do here is press enter, and we're now telling our on-premises RAS server to try to connect to Azure. If we now go back to Azure and say connect, if it hasn't already, we'll establish that connection. As you can see, this didn't take long. It took less than 2 minutes for this connection to actually happen. The next thing I'm going to do is create a virtual machine within this virtual network. So we talked earlier about creating virtual machines, but I said we would later create a virtual machine within the virtual network. That's what we'll do now. My encouragement, my strong encouragement, don't use Quick Create here because you can't place it in the virtual network. Use Create from Gallery. We're going to create a 2012 R2 Data Center Edition machine. I'm going to name this one DC2, enter my username and password. Create a new cloud service. DC2 has already been created. I'm going to put it in the TS2 domain. It defaulted to this virtual network because it was the first in the list. If I had multiple subnets, I could choose them here. I've also created a storage account, TS2DC2. And then it talks about agents. I'm just going to leave the install VM agent and say go ahead and create. So it'll go ahead and start provisioning this virtual machine. What I typically do when I create a virtual network, I'll create it, and then as I'm waiting for the gateway to be created, I'll go create my virtual machines within the virtual network. You don't have to wait for the gateway to be created to create your virtual machines. So now that we've set this up, what I'd like to do is end this discussion now, and in our next video I'll start up talking about how we've set up the virtual machine and what you can do with it. Thank you.